Okay. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to talk about sexual assault because a lot of people with mental illness end up experiencing it, or because they experienced it, they end up with a mental illness. Most of the time that is very true. I don't know anybody who has experienced sexual assault who hasn't ended up with a mental illness. So that's what we want to talk about today. Let me get these out of the way. So this is Courtney. Everybody knows her.
Hi.
Right? We've already introduced her on my channel. So let me start off because I know that Courtney is still debating on whether she wants to talk about hers, right? Okay. Yeah, so oh, okay. All right, no worries. Okay, that was Courtney's cousin.
Well, old friend.
Yeah.
We're not doing the cousin thing anymore because we're not blood, but
Okay.
not that that's important.
Okay. So anyways, so my first experience with anything like that was when I was really young. I was probably like 4 or 5. I don't know. It happened for a good while. It was my brother. He molested me when I was younger. And that experience was, I had forgotten about it as an adult. So it didn't come back to me, and I had forgotten about it for a long time, actually. Like, I kind of like placed it in the back of my mind. And then one day, I think it was after I was sexually assaulted, it was sometime after that I remembered it. And of course, that experience probably brought it back up. But my brother used to tell me to not wear underwear underneath my my nightgown so that he could touch me whenever he wanted. And for a while there, I did do that. But then one day I was like, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't like it. And so I wore underwear, and my brother got pissed off at me. And so because he got pissed off at me and, you know, was throwing his little fit, I went and told my mom, and it finally stopped it. I don't remember. That's the only thing that I remember from that experience, which is crazy, right? Like, I should remember more of it, but that's the only thing I remember is the end of it. So I don't remember how long it went on. I don't remember exactly any of the moments where he was, you know, doing stuff to me. I just remember that. So, you know, it's probably too traumatic to remember. I don't know. Who knows? Then as an adult, I did drugs, got myself into shitty situations. My first sexual assault, I was hanging out with this girl. And actually, both of my sexual assaults happened because I was hanging out with this girl. I don't know what I was doing. I liked her. I was already out as a lesbian. I liked her, and I thought that we were gonna hook up and hang out and maybe more. I don't know. So I was just kind of like, okay, cool, let me hang out with this girl. But she took me to people's houses that were guys. And then when I was at the first house, she's like, this guy here has raped me before. So can you, so please be cautious. And then, so of course we were already there. I didn't drive at the time. I was drunk, so it's not like it would have mattered. We didn't have Uber or Lyft. So the possibility of me leaving was impossible. Everyone there was drunk. There was no one to drive me home. So I was stranded. And of course, they tell me that I have to sleep in bed with one of the guys. And so I go and sleep in that bed, and he sexually assaults me. He first starts off by going down on me, which was really uncomfortable, and I was really drunk, and I first tried to enjoy it because I didn't know what else to do. And then I got uncomfortable, and then he tried to stick his, you know what, in me. And I kept pushing him off, and he kept doing what he was doing, thinking that it was going to eventually get to that. And of course, it didn't. So I don't remember anything else after that. I don't even remember how it ended. I was so drunk. I drank like 2 bottles of liquor that night. It was pretty bad. And I think I did some weed and some other stuff too. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. So then the second time I was with that same girl. We went to a hotel room with this guy. Of course, you know, I was naive. I should have known that was an awkward situation. You should know, like, he's taking us to a hotel room. That's sketchy. I mean, of course, you should know that, but I didn't know that.
You can't blame yourself.
We were going to get drunk at this hotel room. And then, of course, she pulls me outside and tells me once again, this guy has raped her in the past. I don't know why she wanted to hang out with this guy. I don't know why she wanted to hang out with any of these people. But of course, she takes me outside, tells me this, and then tells me, can you protect me? Will you hold me through the night so that he doesn't do it? So of course, I do that. I hold her through the night. Or I grab on tight to her and hold her so he won't do anything to her. And then of course, he does it to me instead. It's the same exact thing that happened. He starts off like, these people knew I was a lesbian, by the way. I've told them I was a lesbian. They knew. So it wasn't like I wanted them. They knew that. They knew I didn't want them. I told them straight up.
Yeah.
And this guy takes me, I'm drunk off my ass again, really drunk. We're stranded. He was our driver. He's drunk. And he pulls me off of her and takes off my pants and starts going down on me again. I keep pushing him off of me. And then eventually he starts to try and stick his, you know what, in me. I don't know how far he got. I was so drunk. I don't even remember how it ended. Honestly, those situations I haven't really ever talked about it publicly. I've talked about it with partners a little bit, but I've never told them the whole story. And so, you know, it's really hard to talk about, but I really wanted to put it out there because I feel like it's something that is a discussion that should be discussed openly, especially amongst women. I know that it happens to men, but women, it's more likely to have happened to. So I think women need to discuss it, and I feel like we need to be able to help each other. And, you know, I am somebody who likes to protect people, so of course I tried to protect her both times, but that got me in a shitty situation, and I shouldn't have protected someone who was putting me in those situations. I was stupid. Maybe I wasn't stupid. I was naive. And of course, you know, those situations happened. So the last but not least thing that has happened to me is my hallucinations have raped me, which is really, really bad. It happens a lot, or it used to happen a lot. It doesn't happen anymore now that I'm medicated. So it's good. But there were many different times. The first time it happened, I was just breaking up with a girl. I had just broken up with her, I don't know, a few months earlier. And then all of a sudden I start feeling these sensations, and then I see hallucinations of this girl having sex with someone else, and I'm having to feel it. And that was really traumatic, because I still loved her at the time. And then it happened again in my next episode as well. That happened many times during that episode. That was my first episode back when I was 21. And then my next episode was, I think I was 24. And it happened a lot then too. And the voices told me that it was because I was feeling people thinking about me while having sex or while doing stuff to themselves. I don't know what was true, but I felt it happening. And then the last time it happened in my third episode as well. And at first it was okay because I thought I was feeling my partner at the time. Even though she wasn't really my partner, she was a hallucination that I thought she was a real person, but she became a hallucination and I thought she was my partner. I was feeling her masturbating and she was thinking about me, so I was like okay with it. But then at the end, near the end, she was having sex with someone else and I was having to feel it. And there was a man she was having sex with, there was women she was having sex with. It was a bunch of different people and I was having to feel it. There was a certain point in time where I was having to feel it. I tried to kill myself because I didn't know a way out. And so I tried to kill myself. I got put in the hospital, and in the hospital, this was happening. It was still happening. And she was in the next room having sex with this guy, banging on the wall. I could hear them banging on the wall. People were walking by laughing and talking about it. And someone said she wants a captain instead of a Labrador. And because I always considered myself a puppy, that was kind of like something that really hit for me, because I'm a puppy. I love everyone, or at least that's how I used to be. I don't think that I am. I think after these traumatic experiences, I'm not as puppy loving as I used to be. I'm more cautious now. But I am still a loving person. I still protect the people I love. I still take care of them. And I try to be a good person. Yeah, so there was a lot that happened and I was having to feel it. I went into the mental hospital. That was just the regular hospital that was happening. And in the mental hospital, they were doing it still and they were laughing about it and people knew, and it was just really traumatic. And that experience was the most traumatic experience I've ever experienced in my life. That was the girl that I was in love with from 2017 to 2020. I still love her, I guess, so who knows how you feel about that. I haven't been able to move on because I haven't found anybody that's been as good as she was. And maybe because she was partly a hallucination, it was hard to live up to that. I don't know. But that was the most traumatic experience. Like being raped or whatever happened to me back in the day was nothing compared to that experience, because it was like I was being raped for everyone to see, and everyone was laughing at me and everyone was belittling me and making me feel horrible. So it was the most traumatic experience I ever experienced, and it kept happening for a long time there, like most of 2019 it was happening. Part of 2020 it was happening. I don't even know when it stopped, but yeah, so those are my experiences. I don't know if you're ready to share yours. That was a lot already. I know, you guys, that was a lot.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few experiences and I get it. That is a lot to talk about, but I feel like it was necessary. And that's the first time I've ever told the stories of my my hallucinations doing what they did to me openly, because I don't talk about that because people don't understand. People think it's not as bad as real rape or sexual assault, and I disagree. So I don't openly talk about it, but I feel like on this channel, since it's mostly schizophrenia people who watch this channel, I feel like it's okay to talk about that, because maybe some people will understand and maybe some people have experienced it, and maybe I am opening a door for you to feel okay because you're not alone. So hopefully that is the case. So you want to talk about yours?
Sure. It kind of goes back to something you were talking about when you were saying like, hey, I should have known, like, going to the hotel that wasn't a good situation, but they don't teach us everything as little girls, like
Yeah,
what
they
to be
should.
cautious for. My mom said, don't walk down dark alleys alone, like don't leave your drink anywhere at the bar, like, and I didn't do those things, but I don't know, I was really trusting and I was really naive, and I figured, like, for instance, if someone's a friend of a friend, then like they're safe because they're vouched for. And I went broke and I was staying with my friend, and I was trying to make money, and I did not want to have sex. I did not want to be a prostitute. Like, that's not what I was going for at all. But I read online that you could be like a dominatrix and get like $200 for just to kind of like whipping somebody or like doing something like that. And I know that sounds horrible because it's like, why would you even want to do that? Like, why would you put yourself in that situation? But I just wasn't thinking straight. And at the time I was also undiagnosed with my schizophrenia. So I was kind of just had all these weird ideas. And
So you were experiencing your schizophrenia at the time?
yeah.
That would be really scary. I don't think that I was experiencing the heart of my schizophrenia when I was sexually assaulted. So
Yeah.
that
And I've always had this like chronic passive suicidal ideation. And it doesn't mean I'm always trying to kill myself or I'm always feeling suicidal. It means that I just, in general, take risks that I should not take. I do things that like smoke or drink that are gonna quicken my death rather than actually like prolong my life. And I was drinking a lot, and like I said, I was just like, I'm just gonna be a dom. Like, that's how I'm gonna get some extra cash right now. And so my first client, he came over, and the first session was actually okay, like, you know, worked out. And then it was a couple weeks later, and he came to me and he was like, hey, I want to do a session. And I was like, well, I'm actually really tired right now. And he was like, well, you know, how are you supposed to keep a clientele if you're not willing to do it when they want you? And I was like, okay, you're right. And he goes, how about this? Instead, I'll dominate you. And I was like, okay, because I'm naturally submissive. So, and this is why I feel like it's difficult to talk about, because people think rape is something that happens to you when you walk into a bar and they put a drug in your drink. You know, they think that it's something that happens if you are like in the city, and you know, I don't know, like it just but I actually I put on lingerie. Like I allowed him to touch me, and I told him no sex, and he was like, what are your limits? Like, what are your hard limits? And I was like, well, my nipples are really sensitive, so please don't like squeeze them or hurt them in any way. And so what he did was he decided to use that against me, and he was just like twisting them really hard, and I was like, ow, please stop. And he was like, well, open your legs. And I was like, so I had to make him stop. And yeah, he started having sex with me, and I just remember, like, why won't I scream? Like, I just said no, but I wouldn't actually scream, like, because I was scared. I was scared that that if I put up too much of a fight, or if I started screaming, that he would hit me. And because you hear all these stories in the news all the time of like a woman raped, and like the pictures of her face is all bruised up. And I'm just like, well, if I don't allow him to do what he wants, he might like be violent with me. And I just remember like crawling away from him, and he just kept grabbing me and like pulling me back. And then like when he was done, he got up and he just literally he took the money and he just like threw it in like on the ground like in front of me. And I was just like, this is not this is not. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, it's kind of like how you were saying about your friend. She was like, this guy's raped me before, right?
No.
And so I find out later when I tell the friend I was living with that what happened. And if at first he didn't believe me, he's like, no, I just don't believe you. I think you just slept with him because everybody sleeps with this guy. And I was like, what? And then I find out later, the same friend tells me that he tried to rape another girl who lived in the apartment complex. And he goes, that's when he started to believe it, because he was like, my ex-girlfriend apparently was forced to give a blowjob to this guy. And then you said that, and now this other girl who I care about is saying that this guy did the same thing to her. And so he finally began to believe me.
That's good. That's good that he finally began to believe you. But that's still wrong for him not to believe you right at first. Honestly, I will say that during my very last episode, that was my major episode, I thought that, and I'll get to the point where that it relates to that. Sorry, I just have to explain.
It's okay.
I thought that there were certain people that were doing this to me, of course. So I posted online their full name and that they raped me, because one of the guys told me, well, one of the voices in my head that was a guy that I knew, told me that I can't, after he did this stuff to me, the rape of a hallucination, he told me because it was a spiritual experience that I would never be able to tell on him, that there was no way for the police to know to make him pay. There was no way for anyone to get him. And so I posted online that he did this to me, posted his full name, posted someone else too that did it to me, because of what he said. And yeah, so yeah, and because of that, because I posted it online, there were people who of course thought I was lying, which, I wasn't lying, but it wasn't the full truth, if that makes sense, because it was a hallucination, not the real person. But I thought it was the real person, so of course it was real for me, and so I was telling the truth in my mind. In my mind, I was telling the truth. But there was a lot of people who stopped being my friend because of it, and they won't talk to me, and they won't do anything because I said those things. And they don't know the full story. Of course, I wish they did. And maybe I'll post this on my Facebook so that they will know.
That would be really intense.
Right? It is really intense. But yeah, that's how it related to your story. Sorry. So that it was just that there was people that didn't believe me. And I feel bad for the people that I posted about, because there's still this question in my mind every day whether those things were real that happened to me. Like there's still times where I'm like, could it be real? What if it was real and they wanted me to believe it wasn't because of what they did? Or there's just these questions in my mind. Even though I'm medicated, I still have this like, it was so real. I'm still like was that real, you know? So it was so real for me. Was it actually real? And so I do feel bad if it's not real. You know, I do feel bad because, you know, they didn't deserve that. But I do believe in my heart that if it all was real, those are things that they would have actually done to me. I am almost 100% sure that these people would have done these things to me if it was real, because of things that happened. I thought they were watching me on cameras and they were doing these things to me. And yeah, so yeah. Anyways, that's
So, you know, there is this one other thing that happened.
okay. Go ahead.
It was actually kind of the same thing where I don't know if it was real or if it was a flashback or if it was
Oh yeah, you told me about that, the situation with your mom, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
And not just my mom, but with my old adopted uncle. And it was like weird because I was on medication for antidepressants, but I wasn't diagnosed with schizophrenia again. And the doctor put me on Abilify to enhance my antidepressant, and apparently there's a 1% chance that Abilify will put you in psychosis, and I was at 1%. So I was in psychosis and I started having a panic attack, and it just like I felt like I was getting flashbacks of being in a dark room with this man who I identified as my uncle, and not like anyone who's in my life now, but someone who is now living in El Salvador. So thankfully they're not even here anymore. But I felt like real sensations like on my body and like my mouth, and then later like inside of me. And I was just like terrified because I was like, how is this happening? And I like backed into the wall and just kind of like sat there and just started sobbing and crying. And
did you try to hold your crotch to make it stop? That's one of the things that I did. Is I
curled up
my
into
crotch.
like a little ball.
Okay. That
like trying to like protect myself from all angles, I guess.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
And it but it was just so visceral. It was so real, and I was just like, this is insane. Like this has to be a flashback. This has to be something that like I buried, that was traumatizing, that I just didn't remember until now. And to this day, I don't know if it really happened or not.
Okay. See, so that's the thing with psychosis. It's so hard to know what was real. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just like so many things that it's hard to tell. Like, there were times where I saw Samantha. Well, I guess I could say her name. Can I say her name? Do you think that's okay?
I guess it's okay.
Okay. I saw her physically in my presence. There was many times where I saw her, like a visual hallucination of her. There were even scary ones where she was crawling out of my phone, because I looked at her picture and the picture started crawling out of the phone and chasing me, and it was like The Ring. Like,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was exactly what happened. And I ran out of the room. There was other times too, like there was a dark cloud in one corner and she was off in another corner. And there was different times. So it was so real. I thought she was really with me. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought she was with me. And so for me, it still sometimes is like, was she really there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was she really there? Was she really, like, what if she was sending them to me spiritually? What if she really was talking to me somehow, but maybe not on cameras? Like, there's things in my head that I think about. I wish there was a way to know what was real. And I think that the only answer for me that would have been the way to stop believing that it was real would have been for her to tell me it wasn't real, because she was the main voice in my head during those times. she was the main hallucination that I had in general. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it would have been good. I can probably talk to my aunt. She was one of my hallucinations, but she was a bad hallucination, so I don't know if I want to talk to her. But I could talk to her and probably be like, were you really there? And that might help, but it wouldn't help as much as her, which is why I really wanted to talk to her at some point. But I know that that's not necessarily possible because of how I treated her back then, or how much I kept talking to her during those times during those times of her hallucination harassing me. But I guess it wasn't really harassment, but it still felt like if she wasn't there, maybe I would have gotten over her faster. If that hallucination wasn't there, I would have gotten over her faster. I don't know. It's really hard. So anyways,
The one thing, if you take anything away from this, two things is, first, I want to say that rape is rape, no matter what. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. It doesn't matter who you're with. It doesn't matter if you feel like you trusted the wrong person.
Or if you said you are okay with it at first and then said, no, I don't want it anymore during. That's still rape. If you tell them no, that's still rape. Even if it's like, I don't want it anymore, get off of me. If you tell them that, that's rape, and if they keep going. So go ahead.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And it's hard for some people to understand that, but like, anytime that someone does something against your will or permission, it is a complete violation, not just of your trust, but of literally of your soul. Like, and the other thing is that so many people don't believe, but if you hear something about someone and it's like, hey, this person has raped someone before, or this person has forced themselves on someone, like, believe them.
Yeah,
believe them.
Definitely.
Don't trust them. Don't just keep living your life without boundaries. Like, if you have to have this person in your life,
don't trust someone that has been known by other people to do that. Don't trust them.
Yeah.
Don't give them any alone time with you. Don't leave your drink with them. Don't do any of that. You be very cautious and stay away from them as much as possible. I agree 100%. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for that as well, for you saying all those things, because I wouldn't even have thought of that. We should say something like that to them, because I agree. We need to get it out there. You got to be cautious. I know that it's so hard, but as women, we are more likely, every woman I have ever dated has been raped, molested, sexually assaulted. All of that has happened to them. And catcalled, all of those things. Like, I've been catcalled by people. I've walked down the street and I've been catcalled. This was back when I was more feminine, before I realized I was not a feminine person. But yes, I got catcalled. I've gotten like weird guys hitting on me at stores, and like, or at the gas station, or just weird shit like that. Like, you just like get it in the worst ways, and we have to be very cautious as women, because there is that constant sense of men trying to do things to get us.
Just to be clear, women can also be rapists. So it's not just men that do these things.
No, but it is more likely to be a man.
Yeah.
And I do agree. There have been women who have raped. There have been women that have molested. I agree with that. That has happened. But it is more likely to be a man, because men are more sexually, what do you call that? Promiscuous, maybe?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. I think it has more to do with our anatomy, because men are...
They're more, well, because testosterone makes them more horny.
They're takers, they're the ones who are penetrating the body.
Well, and they're also the top, so they think that they have to do that. If you say no, sometimes they think that that's more like, oh, well, I have to try harder. You know what I mean?
Like, they think it's a challenge.
Because they're the tops. Usually, they're the ones who are the aggressors. So they think that they have to be aggressive. They think that they have to be forceful. That is what they think. And so that is usually why they are the ones that are the rapists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not all men are like that. There are good men out there. So I'm not saying that.
Definitely.
I'm not saying that it is. You can trust men. You can trust certain men. Just make sure you are cautious with who you trust. Don't give your alone time to some man that you just met unless you are willing to have sex with them, if you really believe that you are willing to have sex with them. That's all I have to say. Like, just be cautious, because it happens more often than not. I swear to you, the statistics on women being sexually assaulted, raped, all of that is very high. It's very, very high. Most women, you can walk by a bunch of women, and probably 9 out of 10 of those women have been raped, at least. So I think that you have to be very cautious. And I think that is it for our video, don't you think?
One more thing.
One more thing?
If you're a man watching this, I want you to know that you are not bad. You are not out of control. You have the capability to use your sexuality wisely with love and care.
And masturbate. I mean, if you really need to get it
Yeah.
off, masturbate. There's nothing wrong with masturbating. I do it all the
Nothing
time. I haven't had sex in 6 years. I masturbate. I think it's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And also, you know, there's nothing more beautiful than having sex with someone who wants you. And it's not just
Yeah.
consensual.
And
but
you can, oh my God, if you really do have a rape fantasy, there are girls out there who are willing to do a consensual, non-consensual sex.
that's very true.
That is, what is it? Consensual, non-consensual, CNC. That's what they call it. CNC, consensual, non-consensual sex. You can play out your rape fantasy with someone if you really want that, which I don't think that you should ever want it that badly, but I do think that it's okay to live out that fantasy with someone who is consenting to it.
Right.
That is
Like-
okay, because I feel like I would play out that fantasy. I'm totally up for consensual, non-consensual sex with someone. I
Yeah.
love it. I think that it gives me it gives me the what do you call that? The
Thrill?
no, not the thrill. The out to live out I think it's out. The out to live out my fantasy, or not my fantasy, but to live out the stuff that happened to me in a different way. This time I take control. This time I get to be the one who does it instead of the
Yeah.
other way around. That's how I feel like I like it. I would be the top. I would be the one who would be doing these things to the other person, and I would enjoy it, because it would feel like I got to live out my situation in a different way, if that makes sense.
It does.
Okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like having a different ending.
Yeah, it's like having a different ending. I get to live it the way that I want to live it. You know, that experience,
Yeah.
I get to live it the way that I want to live it. And that, I would totally have fun doing that. As long as they are willing to do it. I would do like some tie them up and whatever else.
Yeah. Me and my husband actually tried that once, and
Yeah?
it's kind of funny though, because I don't know what I was thinking, but he was like, okay, I was like, okay, so you're gonna come in and you're gonna rape me, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna go outside the house and I'm gonna like break in, and I was
Did
like,
he come in through the window?
I locked all the doors.
He came in through the window, didn't he?
No, he didn't. He couldn't get in the house. I locked everything.
Oh my God, why?
I don't know. I just,
You
I
were
said-
like, I don't watch this.
I mean, I wanted it, but at the same time, like, I started thinking, like, oh my God, there's someone out there, that there's someone gonna come rape me, and like, I'm gonna be the smart girl in the movie.
You're gonna lock all the doors. She locked her husband out. That's really
Yeah.
funny.
So like half an hour later, he's like knocking on the back door, and I'm like, oh, and I let him in, and he goes, what happened? And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know. Like,
It's okay. It's okay. That's really funny though. That's really funny. Yeah, so anyways, I feel like that's our video. This was a long video, but I feel like the women watching will probably be able to get something out of it. And if you guys want to tell your stories to us, feel free to send me a message and maybe we can get your guys' stories out there as well. I feel like we need to talk about this. I'm always down for people to tell their schizophrenia stories as well. So feel free to come out there and tell your stories about schizophrenia. It's if you want to message me, Instagram, through YouTube chat, all of that, feel free to message me. Yeah, so that's our video. What do you think? That's the end?
I think that's a wrap.
Okay, that's a wrap. All right, thank you guys.
Bye.
Love you all. Have a good one.